Hello and welcome to this Yoga for Anxiety video. My name is Anna Brooke. So all of us as humans will experience anxiety at some time in our lives. It's completely natural too. For some of us we will have what's called trait anxiety, and that's a certain level of anxiety that we inherit from our ancestors. For others of us, we may not associate the word anxiety with ourselves until a more challenging situation comes up. It's so called state anxiety. At the moment, with things being a little more uncertain for many of us, that's when state anxiety can heighten. So wherever you are on that spectrum, the really good news is that yoga offers some excellent techniques which have been proven via many studies to show that they reduce and ease anxiety. So I'm going to offer you a variety of those in this next hour. Beginning by coming to lie down on your back. So knees together and soles of the feet together. And just also to say, if any of this feels like it won't be beneficial to you today, maybe you have injury, then please sit out anything or just slightly change it to suit your body. Beginning by closing the eyes. So feeling the body settle down into your mat. Feeling the body nice and heavy. And firstly, I'd like you to simply tune into your own body. And instead of trying to get away from any anxiety that we may have in the body, we're going to begin by acknowledging it. So notice if you feel anxiety in the body at the moment. It may feel like a tension in the body or a sense of uncomfortableness in the body. And then gauge yourself from 1 to 10. How high are your anxiety levels today, would you say? With 1 being very low to non-existent and 10 being quite high. Just gauging that for yourself here. And having a sense of any anxiety which is present as slightly detached from yourself. So instead of thinking I'm anxious, we can think there's anxiety present. I can feel anxiety present in the body, but I know that it will pass. And now I'd like you to sense how that anxiety feels in the body and where you particularly notice it. And as you do that, giving it a colour and a shape. Could you give the sense of that anxiety a colour and a shape? Now, how could you transform that colour and a shape into a slightly different colour, a slightly different shape, which feels manageable? So the anxiety feels or transforms into something which feels manageable and okay. Just changing the colour and the shape now. And then letting go of that visualization of the anxiety and taking your hands to your abdomen, just the lower belly area. And we're going to come into some belly breathing. So just having the eyes closed, keeping the eyes closed, and breathing in nice and fully into your hands. So breathing in, breathing out. Breathing in, breathing out, breathing in through the nose, breathing out through the mouth, breathing in, Breathing out. A few more rounds of this in your own time. We know that this deep breathing, this diaphragmatic breathing, is very calming for the central nervous system. And it begins to reduce the stress hormones of adrenaline, cortisol, which can run around the body when we're feeling anxious, and replaces them with happier, calming, more soothing hormones. A few more rounds here, inhaling and exhaling. Inhaling and exhaling. And in keeping that full breath, we're going to come into the 7-11 breathing technique. So breathing in for 7, exhaling for 11. Nice full breaths. Inhaling 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Exhaling 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Inhaling 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Exhaling 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Inhaling 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then exhaling 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And then returning to our even inhale and exhale, keeping those nice full deepened breaths. And then we'll begin to bring in some movement. So keeping those full breaths going the whole time. Drawing the right knee in towards your right armpit and taking the hands around your knee, interlacing the fingers and extending the left leg. So you're drawing that knee into the right armpit, feeling an opening through the groin area, feeling the body still nice and heavy, and guiding that left thigh down to the ground. Swapping the legs over, taking your left knee in, straightening through the right leg. Nice long deep breaths. And then taking the soles of the feet to the floor as they were before, arms coming out to the side. And just dropping the knees gently over to the right. So feeling that twist through the back. And then over to the other side, over to the left. So just slowly wakening up the back. Slowly wakening up the shoulders. But trying to keep both of the shoulders evenly pressed into the ground. And then taking the knees into the center, drawing the knees in towards your chest, and then hands coming under the backs of the knees and just rolling up. So we're kind of massaging into the back here as we roll. And then coming up to sitting. And then crossing the legs if that's comfortable for you. Otherwise you could have the legs forward like this. And then taking the hands out in front of you. So you may come to here, just dropping the neck forward. Or you may draw the hands further forward and release the neck. And breathing into the whole of the back here. Relaxing through the neck. And then coming up to sitting. Taking the right hand down to the ground, left palm facing up, reaching over to the right side. So you want to keep both of your sit bones evenly weighted on the ground rather than tipping over. Feeling that lovely stretch down the left side of the body. Coming over to the other side, taking this left hand quite far away from the body so you can have a nice strong stretch over to the side. Making space between the intercostal muscles, between the ribs. And then taking the hands behind the back, interlacing the fingers, drawing the fist down to the ground, inhaling, looking up towards the sky, back to the center. Inhaling down and back to the center. Inhaling up and back to the center. Inhaling down and back to the center. Over to the side as you inhale, back to the center. Over to the other side, back to the center. Over again to the right, back to the center. And over to the left, back to the center. And then twisting round to look over your right shoulder. Taking the left hand to the outside of the right knee, lifting up tall, twisting round. Nice full breaths, keeping those abdominal breaths flowing into the belly region. Feeling the stretch down the side of the neck. Coming over to the other side, lifting up tall, as if there's a string at the top of your head, and then twisting round to the side to look over your left shoulder. Coming back to the center. And then coming to Anahasana, or melting heart posture. So the hands out in front of you, palms pressing down, and taking the forehead down to the ground. So you've got the hips over the knees, and the chest drawing down to the ground. So there's going to be a lovely stretch for the shoulders. Feeling the shoulders really nice and heavy here. Long, deep breaths. Breathing through the nose. And then coming back here. And we're going to come into a twist with the shoulders. Shoulders are a common area of tension, so this is a really good way to release that tension. Taking the right arm under the left arm is extended and leaning into that right shoulder. So you've got your left fingertips pulling forward and a right angle between the arms ideally. You could place a cushion underneath your right shoulder if you needed to, or if the shoulder wasn't touching the ground. Breathing into the whole of the back and exhaling. Inhaling and exhaling. Inhaling and exhaling. Pressing down into the left hand, rising up, coming over to the other side, taking the left hand underneath the right. And then coming up to sitting. Okay, and then just coming forward onto your chest, taking the hands under the shoulders, So again, we're opening up through the front of the chest here, pressing into the hands, lifting up, cobra, and then releasing down. So you may come just only slightly off the ground if that's what your neck and your back prefer. If you can come a few inches up, then lifting up a little further, maybe tipping the neck back, and as you exhale, coming back down to the ground. Inhaling up and exhaling down. Taking the hands out in front of you, palms pressing down into the ground, and just lifting up and holding here in spheal posture. So the arms are long. Now if your back isn't keen on this, just come to rest with your head on the ground and wait for us a moment here. And then lowering down, pressing the hands into the ground, reaching up and back, widening the knees, coming into a child's pose. Forehead coming down to the ground. Taking a few breaths here, again focusing on breathing into the whole of the back. So it's this slow, steady breathing which is really going to help you calm your nervous system, helping us feel more relaxed. Moving out of the mind and into the body, very calming for the mind. Coming back into Cobra. Inhaling, reaching up. Exhaling, pushing into the hands, reaching up and back. Child's pose again. Fill the whole of the back of your back with breath. Feel the ribcage expanding out to the sides. And then coming back to sit on your heels. Taking the hands to the center of your chest. Inhaling, coming up onto the knees, looking up towards the hands, fingertips reaching up. Exhaling the hands under the shoulders. Hands are shoulder width apart, knees under the hips, curling through the spine. Feeling the middle of the back pull up towards the sky. Inhaling, looking up towards the sky, navel pulling down. Tucking the toes, lifting up and back, downward facing dog. And just pushing one heel then the other down to the ground, pedaling the legs out, just releasing into the backs of the legs. Having a slight bend in the knees, the feet are shoulder width apart, feet are ankle width apart rather, hip width apart rather, and the hands are shoulder width apart. Long deep breaths here. And then lowering the knees down to the ground. Inhaling, looking up towards the ceiling, and then coming back to the back of your mat. And again, another one of those. Inhaling, coming up onto the knees, looking up towards the fingertips. Hands coming under the shoulders on the ground. Curling through the spine, crown of the head pulls down to the floor, releasing the neck. Inhaling, lifting up towards the sky. Tucking the toes, lifting the hips up and back. Downward facing dog. So we're aiming for an inverted V shape. Maybe slight bend in the knees if you need to. Pressing into the hands. Drawing the forearms towards each other. And the heels dropping down to the ground. And then lowering the knees down to the ground. Inhaling, looking up towards the sky. And then coming back to the back of your mat. And then coming to another opener for the shoulders. Releasing the shoulders today is one of our priorities. So taking the right arm across the left, like you're making an X shape. And twisting the arms, elbows in line with the shoulders. Maybe closing the eyes here, nice long deep breaths. Swapping the arms over to the other side, left arm over the right, twisting the arms, and again the elbows in line with the shoulders. And then releasing the hands there. Okay, and then just interlacing the hands behind your back, opening up through the shoulders, and then either staying here or if it's all right for you, coming to fold forward, crown of the head on the floor, reaching the arms up and over. So hardly any weight in the neck here, drawing the arms over the head, and then sinking back to the heels. Okay. And then coming back into a downward facing dog, lifting up and back. And then stepping the feet forward between the hands. And just coming to dangle here. So you've got the hands wherever they come to, maybe in the air, maybe down towards the ground. And taking a few nice long deep breaths here into the whole of the back. Releasing through the neck. And then bending the knees, coming up to standing. And then we're coming down to the ground again, just briefly. So coming into a squat. So you may find that you can have the feet flat on the floor. Some of us will be on the tips of the toes. And if your knees aren't so happy to bend, then feel free to just sit this one out and come back on the next posture. So coming into a squat posture, if you can, taking the elbows to the inside of the knees, palms pressing towards each other, crown of the head lifting up. Nice long deep breaths here. And then taking your right hand down to the ground, reaching that left arm up to the sky, palm facing away from you, a little bit of a twist. And then swapping the hands over, reaching up to the other side. Good. And then coming up to standing when you're ready. Coming into Tadasana or mountain posture. So in mountain posture, coming to close the eyes and taking the hands just under your navel here. Feet nice and grounded. So it's said that our center of gravity is 5 centimeters below our navel. So having a sense of that center of gravity here in the belly area, and having a sense of your groundedness through the feet. So the feet in contact with the ground, feeling the feet in contact with your mat. Having a sense of your weight, your energy going down. Grounding ourselves, moving out of the airiness of being in the head and down into the ground. Feeling gravity centering us and grounding us. Crown of the head is lifting up slightly towards the ceiling, so we're not slouching. And then opening the eyes if you have them closed. And coming into tree posture, another very grounding posture. Taking the weight into the right foot. Left foot can come into the ankle here, maybe with the foot slightly bent. If you can, you could take the foot up to the inner thigh here, or anywhere in between, just as long as the foot isn't pressing into the knee. So you might be here or here. Okay, so finding your sense of balance, focusing on one point. So I like to choose a really specific point in front of me, maybe a speck of dirt on the wall or whatever it is. Come back to those breaths, feeling grounded like a tall, majestic tree. Slight bend in your standing leg. And then releasing the hands there. Taking the weight into the left foot, really grounding through the feet by spreading the toes, finding where your right leg wants to come. Maybe coming into the inner thigh. And then maybe this time reaching the arms up to the sky. Fingertips touching, or thumb and the index finger, fingertips touching. Crown of the head reaching up to the sky. And then releasing the hands down. And coming into some sun salutations. So sun salutations are a really grounding practice to do just by themselves. I'll show you one round and you could do 5 of these, for example, in a day as a yoga practice in itself. So hands come to the center of the chest. Let's feel the feet really grounded and rooted to begin with, lifting up through the crown of the head. Inhaling, taking the arms up above the head, looking up towards the palms. Exhaling to fold forward, hands coming onto the shins, crown of the head pulls to the ground. Inhaling, looking forward towards the horizon, long backs of the legs. Pressing the hands into the ground, stepping back into a plank. In a plank, we've got our collarbones pulling forward, our heels pulling back. Lowering down the knees, the chest and the chin to the ground, elbows brush the sides of the body. Inhaling into cobra as we did before. Pressing into the hands, lifting up and back, downward facing dog. Either with a slight bend in the knees or, if you can, coming towards a straightening of the legs. Taking a few breaths here, nice long deep breaths. Bending the knees, looking between the hands. Hands coming onto the shins, looking forward towards the horizon as you inhale, exhaling. Inhaling, taking the arms out to the sides, pressing the palms together, coming back to the center. One more of these. Inhaling, taking the arms up. Exhaling to fold forward, hands coming onto the shins, crown of the head to the floor. Inhaling, pressing into the shins, tucking the tailbone up to feel length through the backs of the legs. Pressing the palms into the ground, stepping back into a plank. Finding your plank, collarbones pulling forward, slightly doming above the heart. Lowering the knees, chest and chin to the ground. Inhaling into cobra, reaching the chest forward. Pressing into the hands, reaching up and back, downward facing dog. And again, nice long deep breath here. Palms spread, heels drawing down. Hips lifting. Bending the knees, looking forward, stepping the feet forward. Hands coming in line with the toes, inhaling to look forward. Exhaling to fold down. Inhaling, the arms coming up the sides of the body, pressing the palms together, bringing back to the center of the chest. Just catching your breath here. Evening out the breaths. and then coming into another balancing posture. So Garudasana, eagle posture. Taking the weight into the right foot. Left foot coming over the front of your right leg, maybe bending the right leg if that's okay for your knee. And the left leg coming over, it could rest on the ground, or it could maybe wrap around the back of your right calf. And then taking your right arm over the top of your left, twisting the arms. So the elbows in line with the shoulders. Try and have your knees in the center as well. Crown of the head reaching up to the sky. And then releasing down there. Nice, taking the weight into the left foot. Grounding through the toes, spreading the toes, getting those strong foundations in all of these standing postures. Right foot coming over the top. And so we're bending and getting our left foot nice and grounded. Left arm over the top of the right, twisting the arms. Finding your drishti point or your gaze point with the eyes. So a really specific point which is going to help you with your balance. And then releasing down there. Lovely. And then stepping out to the side on your mat. So you've got your feet along the length of your mat. And just coming to take the soles of the feet nice and spread, and then turning the toes in slightly. Interlacing the hands behind the back. Inhaling to open up through the chest. Exhaling to fold forward. Prasarita Padottanasana C. So crown of the head is pulling down, legs are straight, arms reaching over the top. Another one to open into the shoulders. A few nice long deep breaths here. And then pressing into the legs, coming up to standing, turning the feet out slightly, coming into a squat. Bending the knees, knees over the ankles, opening the arms out, goddess squat. So you're looking for your underside of your arms, your triceps to be parallel with the ground. Opening up through the chest. And then releasing down. And stepping or turning your right foot to the top of your mat, and the left foot coming onto the tips of the toes of your left foot. About a leg's length between your feet. Both toes, sets of toes pointing forward, and then folding forward here. Pyramid posture. So your back of the foot is drawing down to the ground. The legs are straight. Your torso is about parallel to the ground. And then pressing down into that right foot, coming into a balance, coming forward, hands coming to prayer at the chest, reaching that left leg back, straightening the leg. And then coming forward, taking the left foot to join the right foot at the top of your mat. Coming over to the other side, taking that right foot back, both sets of toes pointing forward, on the back, on the tips of the toes or the ball of the toe on your right foot, and then sinking forward, drawing the right heel down, feeling that lovely stretch down the back of the left leg particularly, probably, also across the back. Crown of the head is pulling forward. Straightening the legs. And then pressing down into your left foot, coming into the balance on the other side, warrior 3. Reaching your right leg back, Heel pulling back towards the back of your mat, lifting the legs, straightening the legs. And then coming up to standing. Nice. And then coming to twist. So you're just twisting around here, releasing any tension through the shoulders, the arms, and then coming into shaking the arms and the hands. So shaking is a really good way to release tension. You'll see animals doing it in the wild. If they get chased by another animal and they build up all this adrenaline in the body, they'll then quite often go and just shake it out. You'll see just for a few moments they'll shake it out and then they'll have dissipated those stress hormones in the body. So we can do the same. And shaking is a sort of therapy in itself. So just having a little shake anywhere that feels a little bit tense. And then let's get grounded again through the feet. So soles of the feet pressing down into the ground, bending the knees, arms rise up above the head as you straighten the arms, and then exhaling, pressing the hands down the center. Inhaling, straightening the legs, the arms come up, and then exhaling, pressing them down the center. Closing the eyes if you'd like to, inhaling, coming up, and then exhaling. So it's a sense of downward moving energy again. Inhaling up, and then a sense of pressing your palms down to the ground, grounding yourself, calming yourself. One more here, inhaling up, and then exhaling back down. Nice. Stepping forward to the top of the mat, Sun Salutation B. So this is a little like what we did before, Sun Salutation A, but with an extra posture thrown in there. So bending the knees, sweeping the arms up, Utkatasana, chair posture. Exhaling to fold forward, hands onto the shins, crown of the head pulls down. Inhaling, looking forward towards the horizon, long backs of the legs. Pressing the hands down, stepping back into the plank position. Lowering down, knees, chest and chin. Inhaling into cobra. Exhaling, pressing back, downward facing dog. And this time we're going to add in stepping the right foot forward between the hands, grounding the back foot at 45 degrees, rising up, warrior one. So in warrior one, you're drawing your left hip forward, your right hip back, and sinking the hips down towards the ground. Hands either side of the front foot, stepping that right foot back, finding your plank again, lowering down. Inhaling into cobra or pressing into your hands, reaching into upward facing dog where you're looking up towards the ceiling. Legs are long. Reaching the hips up and back, downward facing dog. Stepping the left foot forward between the hands, grounding your right foot, rising up to the other side. So that back foot is at 45 degrees. You're grounding through the back foot, making sure both feet nice and evenly weighted on the ground. Hands either side of the front foot, stepping back and then lowering down. Inhaling to cobra or this slightly more intermediate upward facing dog on the tops of the feet. Lifting the hips up and back, downward facing dog. Nice long deep breaths here. And then lowering the knees down to the ground, coming into child's pose. Arms out in front of you, resting the head on the ground. And then coming up to sitting. Okay, a few seated postures now. So taking the soles of the feet together into a kind of a diamond shape between the legs here. And then simply folding forward. So hands can rest anywhere they come to here.
forehead pulling down towards the ground, towards your feet. Perhaps releasing the neck forward. Nice long deep breaths into the whole of the back. And then coming up to sitting. Extending the legs out in front of you. Hands come either side of the hips. And we're just lifting up nice and tall, looking towards the big toes. Looking towards the big toes, shoulders nice and broad, legs are long, crown of the head reaching up. And then folding forward, Paschimottanasana. Now the hands might come to the shins, maybe to the ankles, maybe to the outside edges of the feet. And drawing yourself forward. You may come to here, maybe sinking a little lower. Again, you could relax the neck forward. So just gently pulling on the outside edges of the feet to draw you closer towards your legs. And coming up to sitting, coming into a twist. So taking your left leg over your right leg. And then taking your right elbow to the outside of the left knee, taking the left hand behind you to the center of your back, reaching up nice and tall and twisting. So the crown of your head is pulling up towards the sky. And as you exhale, gently pushing your elbow into your knee to maybe help you twist just that little bit further. Coming round to the other side. So extending your left leg, right leg comes over and rests on the ground, taking the elbow of your left arm into the outside of your right knee. Right hand comes just behind the center of your back, flexing the left foot, lifting up tall, and then twisting here. Okay, and let's come down to the ground now. So coming back to the position we were in at the start, soles of the feet on the floor, knees reaching up to the sky, coming into a bridge. So pressing into the feet, lifting the pelvis up, interlacing the hands under the back, and just sort of drawing your shoulders under themselves, if that makes sense. Pressing into the feet, lifting the pelvis up as high as is comfortable for you. Few nice long deep breaths here, feeling the strength in the legs, opening through the chest. And then taking the hands either side of the hips, lowering down to the ground. Nice. And then taking your right leg over your left as if you're sitting down in a chair, drawing the knees in towards your chest, maybe taking hold of the front knee, and if possible, taking hold of the back left knee. Nice long deep breaths here. So feeling an opening into the right hip. over to the other side. And then we'll come into our final relaxation or Shavasana. So taking the feet nice and long on your mat, turning the feet out to the side, hands coming to rest alongside the body, just making sure your shoulders aren't up by your ears, just releasing the shoulders away from the ears. You might like to put on a blanket or another layer of clothes. And then coming to settle yourself here. So I'm going to talk you through a scan of the body as you rest here with the eyes closed. And then we'll come into a bit of visualization, form of self-soothing techniques. So firstly, relaxing through the crown of the head. Feeling all of the muscles around the eyes relax. And relaxing all of the muscles around the jaw. And then again, having a sense of the shoulders drawing away from the ears. And feeling a sense of relaxation flow down both of the arms, down into the tips of the fingers. So that you feel both palms of the hands relax and the backs of the hands. And then relaxing down through the whole of the neck, at the front and the back. And releasing through the upper chest, all the way down that front part of your upper body, down to the abdominal area. And then relaxing down the whole of the back, starting with the shoulders, the trapezius muscles at the top, down to the middle of the back, and then the lumbar region of the back at the lower back. Sensing the sides of the body relax now. Feeling the pelvis heavy. Relaxing the upper legs, relaxing around the knees, and relaxing the lower legs down into the soles of the feet. Relaxing all 10 toes and the tops of the feet. So sensing your whole body relax now. The whole body deeply relaxing as you rest here. And I'm going to offer you, as you rest here with the eyes closed, a series of places to imagine that you're relaxing in. And then at the end, I'd like you to pick one of them which is most relaxing for you. So imagine yourself in a safe, peaceful, and majestic forest. And now imagine yourself resting in a hammock on a beautiful beach. You can hear the sea, and the sun is shining. And now imagine yourself resting in the garden of an old cottage in the countryside. You can hear the birds and the smell of flowers and plants all around you. I'm resting now in a soft, comfy bed. How does it feel to rest in a soft, comfy bed? And now imagine yourself surrounded by safe people
or by your favourite animals. Imagine yourself surrounded by people who make you feel very safe, or by your favourite animals. Now imagine yourself surrounded by soothing sounds. Soothing sounds surrounding you now. Now imagine that there's a healing colour around you. What colour would surround you to relax you? And now picking just one of those places and resting there for a few moments in this final relaxation or Shavasana. And then staying here if you choose to. Otherwise, just beginning to deepen your breath now. And as you deepen your breath, having a sense of where you're lying in your home or wherever you are. And then when you're ready, just rolling over to one side. And then slowly coming up to sitting when you're ready. Just keeping the eyes closed for a moment here. So sitting comfortably. And at the start of this session, we gave ourselves a number between 1 and 10 on how we were feeling. So just noticing how you're feeling now. And noticing if that number has shifted, with 1 feeling at your most relaxed, 10 at your most unrelaxed. And then we'll just close by taking 3 nice long deep breaths, inhaling fully and exhaling. Inhaling and exhaling. Inhaling and exhaling. And then just coming to open your eyes when you're ready. Lovely, well done. Well, I hope you enjoyed that practice. Lots of techniques in there, and you may like to practice it again. And if there's a particular technique which worked well for you, maybe one of the breathing techniques or whatever it was, then you could practice that technique by itself. Otherwise, of course, you have this whole sequence to help you on a regular basis or more as a sort of SOS if you need it. Okay, thanks so much.